The word spreading through London is not about a loud royal war, but about something colder, Prince William's so-called Iron Wall. Insiders claim it is a deliberate strategy built on silence, distance, and total refusal to feed the Sussex drama machine. No public screaming, no emotional reunions, no back and forth for headlines, just a hard freeze. And when reports swirled that Prince Harry wanted major financial help, the answer from King Charles appeared brutally simple. No, the Treasury door stayed shut, and the Crown made it clear that royal loyalty is not some product to be traded when convenient. For many critics, the breaking point came with that polo trophy moment in Florida. What should have been a polished charity event turned into another viral clip that raised eyebrows fast. As Sophie Chandauka stepped forward during the presentation, Meghan's move into the centre of the camera shot sparked instant backlash online. To her critics, it looked awkward, pushy, and way too thirsty for attention. In royal circles, where timing and protocol matter like crazy, moments like that do not get brushed off easily. They stick. That is why people in London reportedly did not see it as a random mistake. They saw it as another sign of what they believe has become Meghan's biggest image problem, the feeling that every public event somehow has to bend toward her spotlight. Fair or not, that perception has grown stronger over the years, and once that kind of reputation locks in, every clip, every photo, and every public appearance starts getting judged through that same harsh lens. At nearly the same time, Hollywood delivered its own brutal signal. Jeremy Zimmer, the CEO of UTA, made comments about Meghan's talent that hit like a slap across the industry. In entertainment, powerful executives usually play fake nice. They hide behind soft phrases and vague corporate language. They do not normally say the quiet part out loud, but Zimmer did, and that made it sting even more. His remarks were quickly read as more than criticism of one failed project. They sounded like a warning shot to the whole town. That was huge because Hollywood runs on perception as much as performance. Once someone powerful publicly questions your value, the room changes. Meetings cool down. Interest gets weird. People stop looking at you like a prestige win and start looking at you like a risk. Meghan's team may have tried to push forward, especially after signing with WME, but to critics that move, only made the drama louder. It looked less like a fresh chapter and more like a high-stakes agency war, with Meghan caught in the middle as a controversial symbol of clout, ego, and damaged buzz. By early 2026, the situation looked even rougher because both Hollywood and the palace seemed to be sending the same message without even needing to coordinate. Starve the content. The Sussex brand was built for years on one major advantage: royal access. Their biggest value to Netflix, Spotify, publishers, and interviewers was the idea that they could reveal palace tension, royal secrets, and insider truth. That was the bag. That was the product. But if William has truly cut Harry off beyond formal channels, then that supply line is cooked. Without new royal material, Meghan had to pivot harder into lifestyle branding. That was supposed to be the elegant reinvention. Soft visuals, domestic glow, luxury charm, and curated calm. A new lane, a new image, a new empire. But critics quickly argued that the pivot exposed a painful truth. Once the royal connection stopped producing fresh content, the Sussex brand had to stand on its own. And according to the backlash, that was where the shine started fading fast. Reports from major business outlets only added to that pressure. The giant Netflix partnership that once sounded like a golden jackpot appeared to shift into something far less secure. What was once sold as a huge prestige deal began sounding more like a wait-and-see arrangement. In Hollywood, that kind of downgrade says a lot without saying everything. It means the company still has the phone number, but it is not handing over money just because the title is fancy. Results matter now. And that is where the problem got ugly. Meghan's lifestyle content reportedly did not land the way many expected. Instead of becoming a breakout success, critics said it struggled to generate the impact needed to justify the hype. In streaming, being famous is not enough anymore. A big name can get attention for a second, but if the audience does not stay, the numbers expose everything. That is why the weak performance talk hit so hard. It fed the growing claim that Meghan's public profile was still huge, but her actual pull as a creator was far shakier than advertised. Then came the authenticity issue, and that may have hurt even more. Meghan's branding leaned into this polished image of taste, warmth, and handmade elegance, but critics pushed back hard, saying the aesthetic felt too staged, too manufactured, and too far removed from the reality behind the product line. Once people started questioning whether the cozy garden image matched the actual sourcing and production, the whole thing turned into meme material fast. Online culture is ruthless like that. Once a brand looks fake, even a little bit, people start clowning the whole package. That is why the fakery label kept gaining traction among critics. It was no longer just about candles, jam, or pretty labels. It became about trust. People started asking whether Meghan was really selling a personal vision or just wrapping industrial output in luxury storytelling. Whether that criticism is fully fair or partly exaggerated, the damage comes from the vibe. And the vibe for many doubters became crystal clear. Glossy image, shaky substance. The old grifter's insult from Bill Simmons also kept resurfacing because it neatly summed up what Sussex critics already believed. They say Harry and Meghan monetized their exit, their titles, their pain, and their family conflict, then ran into trouble when the public got tired of the same story. Supporters would say that framing is harsh and biased, but in Hollywood, labels like that spread because they are short, brutal, and easy to repeat. Once that kind of branding sticks, it shadows everything. The financial side made the story even darker. When tax filings linked to Archewell drew attention, critics argued that the numbers showed a big drop from the early hype years. What once looked like a bold global philanthropic force now appeared, in the eyes of doubters, much smaller and more fragile. Revenue reportedly fell hard, and much of the funding appeared to come from a single major donor. That triggered more questions about whether broad support had quietly dried up. At the same time, spending remained high, and that gap gave critics fresh ammo. To them, the filings suggested not a growing powerhouse, but an operation burning through image faster than impact. Reports that Harry and Meghan dedicated only limited hours each week to foundation work only made the optics worse. Fair or not, hostile coverage used that detail to argue that Archewell looked less like a deeply hands-on mission and more like a polished extension of Sussex PR. Then the staff departures added another layer of trouble. By late 2025, several high-level exits had reportedly hit the Montecito operation, including senior communications and operations figures. In any celebrity setup, that kind of turnover gets people talking. Around Harry and Meghan, it gets turned into a collapse narrative right away. Each departure seemed to reinforce the idea that the dream team once assembled around them was starting to crack under pressure. And then there is the lifestyle itself, the monster bill behind the image. Security costs in the United States are massive, especially after Harry's legal defeats over UK protection. Add the Montecito estate, mortgage pressure, taxes, staff salaries, legal fights, travel, and private living expenses, and the annual burn rate starts looking savage. Even a prince's inheritance can shrink fast when money is flying out that hard every year. What once looked like freedom now looks to critics like a countdown. That is why many royal watchers believe Harry's push toward reconciliation is no longer just emotional. It is financial, too. He may still want peace with his family on a human level, but the money pressure changes everything. The royal system still holds the one thing Montecito cannot fully recreate: lasting legitimacy. Titles only hold real weight when the institution behind them still gives them power. If William keeps that iron wall in place, and if Charles keeps refusing to reopen the money flow, then Harry and Meghan risk becoming titled celebrities without the full force of royal relevance behind them. That is what makes William's strategy look so ruthless to some and so smart to others. He does not need to attack them in public. He does not need dramatic speeches. He just has to deny access, deny warmth, and deny fresh royal content. That silence does the damage by itself. And if the Sussex business model was built on royal proximity, then distance becomes the weapon. So while the balance sheets in California keep drawing scrutiny, the mood around Kensington Palace has only grown colder. By March 2026, Prince William's approach no longer looked like simple family hurt. It looked like something harder, more deliberate and fully institutional. An iron wall built to let silence, time and pressure do the work, until the Sussexes are left with nothing to sell but their debts, while the palace moves on without them. What is happening now is being framed as something far bigger than a messy family clash. It looks more like a deliberate royal lockdown. For years, Harry and Meghan's strongest selling point was their closeness to the monarchy. The Oprah interview, the Netflix series, and Spare all fed the same machine. Their brand kept pulling power from palace access, palace tension, and palace secrets. That connection was the engine behind the headlines, the money, and the constant global attention. Now, according to royal commentators, Prince William has answered with a strategy that is cold, disciplined, and brutal. Total emotional shutdown. People have described it like grey rocking on a royal level, where the goal is to become so unresponsive and uninteresting that the other side gets nothing back. No personal calls, no family catch-ups, no quiet peace talks, and no private WhatsApp messages. Reports claim that any attempt Harry makes to reach William now gets pushed toward formal legal channels instead. In this version of events, William is not treating Harry like a wounded brother anymore. He is treating him like a risk. That fear, insiders say, goes deeper than simple anger. There is reportedly a real concern inside William's circle that even the most private conversation could later be reshaped into content, polished, retold, and monetized in a memoir, a documentary, or some future media project. In that mindset, every personal exchange becomes dangerous. Every word becomes potential material. That is why the freeze has become so extreme. In William's eyes, according to this narrative, Harry is no longer just family. He is a possible gateway to another Sussex story sale. The pressure does not end there either. By early 2026, royal watchers were increasingly speculating that the palace could move beyond social exile and towards something formal. For years, the public line was that removing royal titles would require Parliament and endless constitutional complication. But the Andrew situation changed the mood dramatically. When his HRH style and military roles were stripped away, people saw that the palace could act fast when it truly wanted to. That opened the door to fresh speculation that Harry and Meghan's position could one day be restricted by royal decree rather than endless debate. Some commentators, including Tom Bower, have argued that Prince William is strongly minded to crack down on any commercial use of royal status in the future. The belief is that the original exit deal already made one thing clear: the Sussexes were not supposed to cash in directly on royal branding, so if Meghan is linked to pricey events, lifestyle sales, or royal-adjacent business ventures, critics say William could view that as a broken deal, and if that line is crossed in his eyes, the consequences could be massive. Because losing the titles would not just bruise pride, it could crush the whole business model. Meghan Markle on her own is still famous, yes, but the Duchess of Sussex is the label with real global commercial heat. That title is the thing that turns ordinary celebrity into premium branding. Without it, critics believe the Sussexes lose much of the mystique that still makes Hollywood pay attention. In a market ruled by image, status, and easy packaging, that would be a savage hit. Then there is the darker allegation that has floated around royal gossip in early 2026, the claim that private footage may have been captured inside royal residences. These accusations remain unverified, but they have spread because they fit neatly into the palace betrayal narrative. According to hostile sources, Meghan is accused of recording private rooms or behind-the-scenes royal life during her time as a working royal, allegedly as future insurance for a documentary, memoir, or some Plan B media product. Whether true or exaggerated, the allegation has done real damage in royal commentary because it paints the Sussex drama as something more calculated than emotional. That claim has supposedly helped unite the senior royals even more firmly against them. In this reading, figures like Queen Camilla and Princess Anne are no longer divided by personality or style when it comes to Harry and Meghan. They are aligned by the belief that trust was broken in a way that cannot be repaired. The result is a wall of resistance, one meant to keep the Sussexes away from royal residences, royal operations, and royal credibility for good. At the same time, the Hollywood side has turned colder too. By late 2025 and early 2026, Harry and Meghan were widely noticed for being absent from major top-tier events where they were once treated like hot-ticket prestige guests. That shift matters in Los Angeles. The elite crowd there is obsessed with momentum, and momentum dies fast when power moves elsewhere. Jeremy Zimmer's untalented remark about Meghan hit hard not only because it was blunt, but because many people felt he was saying out loud what others were quietly thinking. Without strong royal backing, the Sussexes start looking less like major players and more like celebrities surviving on old buzz. That is why their self-styled international tours drew so much criticism. Shut out of official royal tours, Harry and Meghan appeared to build their own version of them through trips to places like Nigeria and Colombia. But instead of looking regal, those visits often triggered more scrutiny. Critics argued the trips lacked proper palace-level due diligence and carried reputational risks. Reports even raised questions about the circles and sponsors surrounding certain travel arrangements. Whether all of that was fair or not, it fed one consistent palace argument that the Sussexes now operate as a reputational hazard rather than an asset. William's approach, according to this view, is simple. Wait them out. If there is no more royal access, then there is no more valuable royal content. And if there is no more valuable content, then the California machine eventually starts choking on its own costs. That is why the Netflix situation matters so much. What was once promoted as a dazzling $100 million partnership now appears far weaker, with fewer guarantees and far more pressure to actually deliver results. The dream of becoming untouchable global content giants looks badly shaken. Meghan's lifestyle push only made that problem more visible. Her series With Love, Meghan was meant to be a polished reinvention. Gardening, cooking, wellness, elegance, and carefully curated authenticity. But the reported viewership numbers told a rough story. Critics pointed to weak rankings and a steep audience drop after the first episode, arguing that curiosity came first, then boredom hit hard. One review even suggested the show felt less like a real lifestyle guide and more like a glossy audition for an identity Meghan was still trying to sell. The business fallout became even uglier with the talk of unsold products. Reports described warehouses packed with as-ever inventory, from candles to jam, sitting untouched while Netflix allegedly carried the burden of a risky equity-style arrangement. Defects, returns, and mockery around product quality all fed the same story. Instead of a luxury brand taking off, critics saw a stalled operation drowning in packaging, storage, and bad optics. The jam issue became especially brutal online. Meghan's branding leaned hard into the image of homegrown elegance, soft focus visuals, Montecito garden vibes, and a handmade feel. But critics claimed the reality was far more industrial, with products traced to standard manufacturing plants and bulk supply chains. That contrast between the Duchess in the garden fantasy and mass production reality exploded into viral mockery. The fake jam memes did not just make people laugh. They hit the core of the whole authenticity pitch. That is when the industry mood reportedly changed from mild doubt to active caution. Luxury houses and premium beauty brands, once rumored to be interested, were suddenly said to be pulling back. The reason was simple and ruthless. If the title does not move product, then the title has lost its commercial magic. One executive reportedly summed it up perfectly by saying Meghan had entered a very dangerous zone, too famous to ignore, but too polarizing to turn into easy profit. Even Netflix appeared to cool off in symbolic ways. By early 2026, Sussex-related promotion looked quieter, less enthusiastic, and far less central to the company's public messaging. The arrangement reportedly shifted into a basic first-look deal, stripping away the glamour and forcing Harry and Meghan into the same reality facing every other struggling production outfit. Pitch it. prove it, make it profitable. And with the palace iron wall cutting off fresh royal revelations, the couple suddenly looked starved of the one thing that made them unique in the first place. That is why their overseas ventures started feeling less like diplomacy and more like desperation. In Colombia, critics said Meghan drew attention back to herself in a setting that was supposed to focus on local hardship. In Nigeria and later Australia, the trips were framed less as service and more as self-created royal theatre. What was once sold as global influence now risked looking like B-roll hunting for future projects, with foreign settings used to keep the Sussex image alive. The latest Australia episode made that tension even sharper. Unlike the 2018 royal tour, which had all the structure and prestige of official palace backing, this newer visit was framed by critics as a commercial operation dressed up in royal vibes. Reports said Meghan was connected to a luxury wellness event in the Byron Bay area, where premium access came with a jaw-dropping price tag. And that is exactly the image problem now hanging over everything. The feeling that the Sussex brand is no longer selling service or access to history, but high-priced status theatre, with tickets reportedly going for $1,700 a seat. Australia did not hold back. The backlash was fast, sharp, and full of anger. A petition reportedly gathered around 32,000 signatures, demanding that no public money, police support, or taxpayer resources be used for Harry and Meghan's visit. Even after the Sussex team tried to argue that the trip cost Australians nothing, the mood did not soften. For many critics, that response missed the real issue completely. What angered people was the sight of a prince and his wife appearing to use royal status for private benefit on Australian soil. That perception gave fresh energy to Republican voices who wanted even more distance from the Sussex brand, while still staying respectful toward the king. While Meghan was trying to calm the public relations fire in Australia, Harry was caught in a more personal crisis, one tied to security, legal scrutiny, and growing isolation. By March 2026, renewed attention on Harry's US visa situation had become another major problem after his admissions about past drug use in Spare. A conservative think tank reportedly pushed harder on the Department of Homeland Security to release his visa records. The question behind that campaign was simple and explosive at the same time. Did Harry answer honestly, or was he treated differently because of his title? Whether political or not, the issue kept him under pressure at exactly the wrong moment. His security troubles only made things worse. After losing his UK security case and seeing no sign of special diplomatic-style protection in the United States, reports suggested Harry's private security bill had climbed to around $2 million a year. That is a brutal amount for anyone to carry. Commentators describe him as increasingly anxious and trapped, paying massive sums to protect a family now cut off from the same institution that once made their status so powerful. The security issue is also said to be one of Harry's biggest reasons for trying to reopen some path back to King Charles, especially while arguing that Archie and Lilibet could be at risk. For many of Harry's supporters, the most painful moment in this stretch of the story was his reported resignation from Centre Ballet. That charity had long been one of the few parts of his public life that felt deeply real and closely tied to his heart. But the fallout from the now infamous polo trophy incident in Florida reportedly changed everything. Sophie Chandaka, a key figure linked to the charity, was said to have refused to sign a clarification statement Harry wanted issued after Meghan's involvement at the event drew criticism. When she stood her ground, Harry reportedly chose to cut ties with the organisation. To critics, that looked awful. It fed the view that image protection had started to outweigh one of the last causes that gave Harry true credibility. That is why the same criticism now seems to follow the Sussexes everywhere. From Hollywood boardrooms to Commonwealth commentary, opponents keep repeating the same line: high cost, low value. The harsh, untalented label once thrown at Meghan by Jeremy Zimmer in Hollywood has, in the eyes of critics, spread far beyond Los Angeles. It now connects with the wider story around their products, their events, and their shrinking influence. After the troubled Australia chapter, Harry and Meghan appear stuck in a dead end. Britain is blocked by Prince William's iron wall, while Hollywood no longer looks eager to keep betting on them. As March 2026 closes, the Sussex story looks less like a glamorous break from monarchy and more like a struggle for relevance, money, and survival. What began as a dramatic departure has, according to hostile commentators, turned into a multi-front battle involving legal pressure, public skepticism, and elite indifference. At the centre of that endgame is the idea of a future William doctrine. For years, Harry and Meghan benefited from the belief that their titles were hard to touch because any serious change would require a huge constitutional process. But the Andrew precedent changed the mood. Once Prince Andrew's HRH status and military roles were effectively removed, royal watchers started believing the monarchy had more flexibility than it publicly admitted. Now, some reports claim Prince William has explored the idea of using letters patent in the future, not necessarily to strip the Sussex titles in one dramatic blow, but to restrict their use for commercial gain. If that ever happened, the titles might still exist on paper, but their money-making power could be crippled. There is even speculation that any future crackdown could affect how royal styling is used around Harry's children. The idea, according to palace gossip, is that no rival California-based royal branch should be allowed to build status and profit outside the institution. Whether or not that ever becomes real policy, the fact that such rumours are even circulating shows how cold the mood has become. At the same time, Meghan is said to be preparing what critics see as her biggest counterattack yet, a tell-all memoir. Unlike Harry's Spare, which focused heavily on his past, Meghan's rumoured book is expected to hit the present much harder. Sources claim it may include private conversations involving Queen Elizabeth II, Prince William, and Catherine, Princess of Wales. Conversations that would naturally be difficult or impossible to verify. That is exactly why the idea is viewed as so explosive. It promises maximum headline value while leaving little room for anything beyond denial or silence. But even that strategy carries a risk. In Hollywood, revenge content can make a splash and bring a large payout at first, but it rarely creates long-term value. Once the secrets are all sold, there may be nothing left to package after that. And that is why critics keep circling back to the same brutal conclusion. Harry and Meghan may no longer be royal enough for Hollywood and no longer Hollywood enough for the royals. By refusing to react, the monarchy has made them less useful as a source of conflict. And by following the numbers, Hollywood seems to be reaching its own colder view, that the Sussexes may still draw attention, but often as spectators' entertainment, not as a brand people truly want to buy into. That leaves the couple in a narrow, uncomfortable place. They are content-starved because Prince William will not engage, and financially squeezed because the biggest media players no longer seem willing to pay top money for anything except direct royal drama. Add reported financial pressure, non-stop security costs, and rising speculation about separate branding, and the whole picture starts looking even more strained. That is why this endgame feels bigger than titles or contracts. It is really about purpose. After years of making noise, Harry and Meghan may now be facing the possibility that the world has simply changed the channel. Tom Bower's final reading is brutal. In his view, the price of the Sussex break with the monarchy is not freedom, but obsolescence. They traded long-term institutional safety for a shorter burst of Californian fame, and now both London and Hollywood seem colder than ever. The warehouses in Los Angeles, mocked as symbols of unsold ambition, have become the image many critics cannot stop pointing to. In the end, a title may buy a seat at the table, but only trust, loyalty, and real staying power can keep you there. What do you think? Is this really the final stage of the Sussex story, or is there still one last comeback left? Drop your thoughts in the comments and subscribe for more royal drama and updates.